Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Chris here in Hawaii. It is Friday. Thank the heavens, it's Friday, and we are London close time. It is 4:17 p.m. London time. It's end of month as well, so the London was particularly volatile today, as there's some month-end rebalancing going on. So, just something to keep in mind as we trade today. And I would say, Friday is usually one of the best days to trade London close because the reversals tend to be pretty good here, unless there's a really prevalent trend. So, we could find something pretty nice today. So let's take a look and see kind of what we have going on here. You can see by the heat map, it's real choppy. Pound and Canadian dollar being bought. Kiwi still being sold. Dollar's kind of mixed right now. Euro's mixed. Aussie's mixed. Yen is way down. So the yen is down on talk of intervention from Bank of Japan. So I think that spooked the markets there to get out of the yen there, as they feel like BOJ is going to support the yen and make sure that it doesn't get too strong, because that's bad for their economy, bad for their export import, and that's kind of the big news overnight with what we have going on. No deal on furthering unemployment benefits and stimulus package for the U.S., so that's not going to bode well for them. For us. And the pound still pretty strong despite some increased regional lockdowns. So it's kind of a weird day out there. Once again, real choppy, with the yen really spiking up like that. I would anticipate another attack for the South, because the reason that they're intervening and they're talking about intervention is the yen is being flowed into, so the markets are actually going into it, and that could give us the opportunity to kind of catch another wave on that. Also, the dollar, I couldn't see getting value too much, so really I'd be looking for like a U.S. Yen trade. I think that could be a good opportunity. Like a U.S. yen short. I just don't think that the dollar is going to be particularly strong, even if this thing gets approved. The economy is just rough right now with, our GDP shrinking by, what was it, a third for the last quarter. So that's not boding well for us. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for today. But first off, let's take a look and see the trade yesterday. It was kind of a quick, fast loss. So sometimes that happens. And, really, best thing you can do is just move on, next trade. There's not a heck of a lot else you can do with that. So let's pull it up and I'll show it to you here, because, that's the reality of trading, is there's going to be wins, there's going to be losses, and you got to give what the market takes you. But the reward to risk was 4.13. So if I took this trade 4 times, I'd only have to win it once to still be profitable. So I'm happy I took it, but you can see we got in right here, and it went out in about an hour and a half. So that's how it goes. Sometimes you can see the spike up here on Euro Yen. So US Yen, you can see it's holding here at this 105.71 mark. It consolidated for quite some time here, and I think it was kind of a false breakout. A ton of volume right into here, so you can see this volume build up right here. Next level up is kind of where it's at right now, but it's kind of gone above it here, and there's not too much volume. And then there's another little volume build right here at 105.83, 105.80. So the next level up would be 106.39. So volume kind of runs out at about 106. 12. Once again, I just don't see the dollar being particularly strong. So you can see over the last maybe 2 hours, it's kind of consolidated in this area. So you can use kind of an entry tool to confirm. You don't get quite as good of a price, but at least it kind of prevents these false signals here. So I like an RSI, like a small RSI move, like a two-period RSI, and if it goes into the oversold, that's kind of my signal to go. It did that about 15 minutes in. So if we targeted here, we could probably get it down about 105.22 if it makes a reversal here. Stop would be above the high, which is 105.81. So we'd probably target up here. So you're looking at about 22 pip stop with a 44 pip profit target. So it could be profitable, but 2 to 1's kind of a, I guess it's decent for a Friday. I think that's a good move for us. Let's see if there's anything else here. So the other trade that could be good, actually this might be more favorable, would be CAD yen. There's a little bit more headwind here at the top. You can see this volume build up here. So you'd be looking at like a 10 pip stop here, 12 pips, targeting. I mean, I could see this thing kind of coming down into here maybe. Really, this would be the level that I'd be looking at. So you're looking at like maybe a 40 pip profit target with like a 10 pip stop. So that might be something favorable to look at here, because the Canadian dollar is going to be a little softer as well. So either way, we're kind of at the top of this little volume buildup here. And you've got these highs here at 79.05, which once again, I don't think the Canadian dollar is particularly strong right now. So you could go either way. I think the dollar is going to sell off more. But you can see there's like no volume up here to kind of protect us, and we're going to be, charging into volume, which it's kind of tough because price is above this volume. So that means that more of the volume is for buying than selling. So kind of an interesting day today. Let's see here. See anything worthwhile? So the level for the Canadian dollar CAD yen was 78.82, and that's 78.91. So it's broken it. So the level was right here in this volume area. So it was this high. So the next level would be this high up here. Let's go to a smaller time frame, and I just want to see what the price action is looking like here. As you can see, we're not seeing a heck of a lot of downward motion. We're kind of seeing a trend here. So what I'd like to see kind of going into US lunchtime is a little bit of a fix here. I don't know if the markets are going to be willing to take this down too far with that Bank of Japan threat, undermining threat in the background. Let's see if there's anything else. US CAD. Nah. It's kind of an unclear day today, guys. So don't know if there's a lot we can do here. If somehow a deal gets done late here for the US too, that could bode well for the dollar. All right, let me continue looking for something here. We'll see if I can find something. If I do, we'll pop up here. But what I'm kind of looking for on this is maybe like a last little ditch effort where it kind of goes a little overdrawn, and then try to buy the reversal, or excuse me, sell the reversal on that. So we'll keep an eye on this, and let's see if this thing moves at all. Because right now it's kind of just consolidating for the last 35 minutes, 40 minutes or so. If it breaks this level, and with somewhat of a convincing downward motion, then we might get in to try to take something down. All right, I'll keep you posted. Thanks.
Well, yeah, it definitely felt good. You couldn't ask for a better restart if you're the NBA with both games. But look, I told you guys I was on the show yesterday. I said it's a very much a must win for the Lakers, and they played like it. They came out and played like they needed that victory. So good for them. It's 2-2 in the regular season series. When they meet each other in the playoffs, it'll be even. So that's great for all the NBA fans. But for people like myself that picked the Clippers to beat the Lakers in the playoffs, there's no reason for me to be discouraged whatsoever. I mean, they were right there, had a chance to win that game without Montrezl Harrell, without Lou Williams, with Patrick Beverly limited to 16 minutes, with their offense very much disjointed at times because of different guys being in the lineup that usually aren't playing. They had 20 turnovers last night, so you can see it right there, and yet they still were in the game. The difference last night was the bench. The Lakers bench with Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma, Dion Waiters, those guys were great. They all had high plus minuses, whereas most four of the Lakers starters all had negative plus minuses. And then on the opposite side, the Clippers bench was a problem. We struggled, but we know when Hero and Lou Williams get back, that's not going to be an issue. So, again, as a guy that picked the Clippers, I feel very confident. Now, there's an interesting thing developing in this series. You see that the Clippers give LeBron major problems, right? And that's to be expected when they got two of the best perimeter defenders in the league in Kawhi and Paul George. LeBron in the 4 games against the Clippers, 37% field goal percentage. That's his lowest against any team he's played more than once this season. 21 points a game. That's 4 or 5 below his season average. But what's interesting is, and last night he really struggled obviously in the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, the last 2 games that the Lakers have won, LeBron has been very good. 7 points last night, 2 assists on 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. Obviously, the 2 drives in the last minute and a half, including the game winner. And Anthony Davis, while a lot of people might praise him, and he was great in the first 3 quarters, he scored 2 points in the fourth. He's got 10 points in the fourth quarter of the 4 games against the Clippers. So the question for the Lakers is that the formula? Can they trust that formula? Is it AD is going to carry them through 3 quarters? And can they trust that LeBron's just going to be able to dominate in the fourth? That's a tough thing to do when you got such great defense on the perimeter by the Clippers. So I was discouraged that AD didn't do a little more in the fourth. And then finally, let me throw this in. LeBron's defense was phenomenal. That's a big sign for Lakers fans. They got to like that. When he wanted to, he locked down Kawhi and Paul George.
The last game they played, I think it was March the 8th or the 9th. Did Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell play?
Did Avery Bradley play?
Skip, it's not your turn. I'm just asking Chris Broussard.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not saying
No, I just know, Skip. I didn't ask you. That's not what it said. Chris. All I asked was a simple question. The last time they played them at the Clippers, at their home, did Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell play?
Yeah.
And what was the score? What was the outcome of that game? Because the problem that you guys say is that you make it seem like the Clippers are unbeatable. Oh, they get all these guys. All I know is that they had two superstars. They had two of the top 10 players in the NBA. We got two of the top 10 players in the NBA. Okay?
But after that, they got more. And you know that. That's the
I
difference.
believe LeBron. I believe, see, when I watch these games, I think LeBron James makes a concerted effort to try to get Anthony Davis off first. And in the process of doing that, he throws himself out of a rhythm. And so if you look at last night, what was he doing with the ball? He almost every time he came down the court, he's trying to find Anthony Davis because he knows they have no answer for him. None, zero. So you can get Trent back. You can get Joe Kim Noah. He went 32 on Joe Kim and Zubac in 3 quarters. He played a little bit more than they probably wanted him to in the third quarter. He played the entire third quarter. And they asked Coach Bowles about that. And he said he had the hot hand, we rode it, and he kept us close. Now go James, bring us home. And what he do, Chris, all I know is this, what we do know. When Kawhi Leonard was trying to get to the basket and LeBron...
Each team led by double figures at one point, and it included a 26-5 run by the Clippers and a 36-14 run. Nerd.
I think we've been ready for this for almost 5.
Long time for this. What happened last night?
What happened?
Now be objective. Lay it on the middle of the table. I think it hurts you really
Well,
close.
Skip, it was great. First of all, it was great to have the NBA back. I think we've been yearning for this for almost 5 months. And to finally have NBA action, live action, not rebroadcast of things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. This was live action. And it was both games were highly contested. We'll talk about the other one a little later. As Jenny mentioned, it was a game of runs. Neither team really shot the ball well. I thought the Lakers got out to the lead early because the Clippers put them on the foul line in the first quarter. The Lakers returned the favor for them and allowed them to get back in the ball game in the second quarter. And really, with the exception of Paul George, no one really shot the ball well. But I thought both teams were sloppy. You could tell the layoffs, Skip. They were really loose with the basketball. But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the morning, I told you the one guy that nobody has an answer for is 6'10" and a half from the south side of Chicago. And boy, was he impressive. Oh, Joe King Noah. He got shoulders. He looked good. Can we get into players like that? Can we get into players like that, Brother? Zubac, no answer. You got no answer for him. And even when my guy, Coach James, had an off night, you still couldn't beat him. Skip Bayless, look. Anthony Davis put us on his back in the third quarter and says, nah, Clippers, I'm not going to let you run and hide. I'm not going to, Kawhi was feeling good about himself. He stripped the ball from LeBron James, and he normally never says anything, but he's mumbling, all ball, all ball. Okay, LeBron, okay, I got something for you. But I want you to keep that same energy, Kawhi. Keep that same energy later in the ball game. But Skip, I thought the layoffs said, man, Lakers about to run away with this thing. And then the next thing you know, foul, get it on the line. See, even though the Clippers weren't shooting the ball well, Skip, when you foul a team, even though they're not shooting well, you put them on the line. You give them an opportunity to get points with no time running off the clock. So that allowed them to get back into the ball game. And then when you thought the Clippers was about to pull away in the third quarter, that's when Anthony Davis said, you know what? This is why you trade 3 players. This is why you give up 3 first-round draft picks. Skip, no disrespect to any of the players that they trade. I believe, will be most improved player of the year. But B.I.'s come out, Lonzo Ball, they come out every year. Them Anthony Davis, that's a 5, 10, 15-year year. They don't come out in the draft every year. And the Lakers were willing to mortgage their franchise to get that guy. But let me tell you about a guy. Now, somebody's been telling me for the last 2.5, 3 years. He's in year 17. He's played the 4th most minutes. Look at that gray in his beard. But I want you to watch a couple of plays last night. In year 17, 35 years.